like mine, you've got to have equipment exactly like mine. Well, he had a big, gigantic speed graphics camera that weighed 2 tons, and I didn't want to do that. So, I mean, I did the next best thing, and I bought a camera that shot 2 1/4 square inch negative because they were easier to work with in the darkroom, because I did all my developing stuff myself. But it's a learning process, and sometimes a horse will stand there and let you do what you need to do. You know, the first thing you have to do is try to get the sunshine coming over your left shoulder. And sometimes that just, you don't have that opportunity. But the main thing is to try to see that picture that you find attractive for whatever reason. And you'll find that different photographers, you can, after a while, they don't have to put their name on it, you can recognize the style. And you have to try to imprint that into your brain, and then when you try to set the horse up, whatever angle or whatever you do, you'll know instantly when he hits that particular pose that you're looking for. And then the next rule is you keep shooting until he moves. You don't stop. I had a camera that had an electric drive. I don't know how many pictures yours will take per second. Mine would take 1 picture every 1.5 seconds. And you could have an ear flick, fly light, you know, all kinds of things can go wrong in that 1.5 seconds. But you keep pushing that button until the horse moves. Because when you get a series of 6, let's just pick a number and say 6 photographs of exactly the same pose, one of them's going to have an ear flicked a little bit, one of them's going to have a tail on the wrong side. And so volume is good. One thing, just to comment a little bit about the making a living with photographs, you have to develop a style that people find attractive. And you have to be consistent with that style. And that just takes a long time to develop. And you've got to be patient.
Craig, any comments?
Well, I guess the only thing I'd say, my deal's a little different, that where I've just growed up in this, and I've showed every year, we go probably 50, 60 shows a year. There's years it's more than that. So everybody you've ever heard of or anything else or seen through the years, the last 50 years, you know, I've been around and knew, and I take bits and pieces and what they've done and what this and that and the other thing is. So as far as to say just one person, I've never been that way. It's more that what I thought I wanted to get to what I wanted, not what the quote, the thing that was supposed to be. It was more what I wanted my horses to be. So, you know, that I took bits and pieces from everybody in the world.
I'll share one little story here that goes along with what Alfie's talking about, the little flicks. Frank Buckman did a nice story on one of my horses here a while back that my boy owned and showed. And I had one really good picture of him mounted, and he wanted a picture of him. And so I sent it to him, and he called me back and he said, Stan, he says, "Is that horse sound?" And I said, "Yes." Well, he had just begun to move his leg, and one of his legs was out of focus almost, and it made him, somebody that looked at it like he did, "Is that horse sound?" Well, yeah, but he went to move his leg just as the photographer clicked and we didn't have the one to take one every 1.5 seconds. It was somebody with a little old click camera, you know, and everything. Anything else that anybody would like to visit with these gentlemen about?
Which one of you guys have had the horse that's had recent success? Any of you guys?
I think that's a loaded question. I know this guy.
I will tell you one thing. One of these guys is older than I am, and I didn't think anybody here was going to be older than I am, and he's a few weeks older than I am. So Craig's the one that's still showing the most.
Anyway, back in November at the World Championship Ranch Rodeo in Amarillo, a horse that I owned along with my grandson. I owned him and gave half interest in him to Troy. He was the top horse at the World Championship Ranch Rodeo. So I consider that to be, in my life, a fairly huge success in that category.
You bet.
And I'm not about, at least don't think I'm about to be stopped. I bought what I think a really nice weanling stud colt in October. And he's looking really good, and he's gonna be part of my future.
There you go.
So I'm looking for more success.
More success.
What about you, Craig?
Oh, I don't know, we've had a lot of horses, went a lot this summer and stuff. I've got a youth girl that was third at the youth world in the trail and stuff, and we had several horses in the top 10 at the World Show this year, and you know, it's just what it is, I guess.
You might brag on Ryan a little bit.
Yeah. So Ryan does the cow horse stuff, and he ropes with, and we do the sale horse deal quite a little with, and we do Pitzer's deal with the deal up there, and he's won a bunch in that stuff, but so I guess I don't like to brag on myself too much. So
Somebody's got to.
That's right. That's what this is
I'll let
for.
everybody else do that.
Anything else that anybody'd like? Yes.
I have a question.
Good.
And I apologize before I ask it. Since none of you have stopped, what age are you? I told you.
Well, I'm 75. That's,
I'm the
85.
youngest one, I'm 72.
85.
Thank you.
77.
we can ask questions too, you know.
Help yourself out. I'm married to a 73-year-old.
Two.
Oh,
Don't stretch it.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Well, you don't have to apologize. I'm proud to say I'm 85.
That's
Good,
great.
good. I hope I'm still going strong as you gentlemen are at that age.
I hope you are too.
If somebody doesn't kill me.
That's a possibility.
Well, we've run a little over our hour, but I've certainly enjoyed what you guys have had to say, and they'll be around. And this, some of Alfie's pictures are up here in these albums. If you'd like to take a look at them. Alfie, I would ask you one question, and you may not be able to answer, but was there any one horse or one account, you mentioned Two-Eyed Jack, was there any one horse or one account that moved you up to stardom in the equine photography world?
I'm still reaching for stardom.
Well, there you go. I think you've already been there for a while, a long
Yeah,
time.
I agree.
Well, of course, the horses that give you the boost are the ones that the clients are heavy advertisers.
Yeah, yeah.
And in that standpoint, pictures quite honestly were not heavy advertisers.
Right.
Probably, I guess if you had to pick one Starlight deal, the work they did for Matlock and Carol Rose, they used the pictures in advertising more so than a lot of my other customers. Now that said, I went through an old Quarter Horse Journal December issue some time ago, and I looked through there and I found pictures that have my stamp on them. I think, now, who was that? So it's accumulation, I think, of, I wouldn't want to hook my wagon to one star.
To one account.
Obviously the ones that put your work in front of the public so other people can see it. One huge compliment I had one time was a guy from, he was north of New York into Canada. And he called, introduced himself, and they had a horse up there that they wanted. He said, "We've looked at all the pictures in the journal, we like yours the best." Well, you know, that was very self-satisfying for me, and I flew up there and took pictures, and everything was great. I had one guy say, "Well, you make my horse look like a big fat Hereford bull." So you can't
Don't leave me a Hereford bull.
And, you know, he paid me, but he said, he told the trainer, he said, don't have him back. But it's accumulation of a lifetime of experience and growing and more experience and, you know, dealing with customers is challenging. You know, anybody who works for the public knows that. But quite frankly, we had far more better, good customers than I'd say, you know, difficult customers.
Sure. Anything else from anybody? Well, thanks a lot for joining us.